welcome back to Dink Smallwood. Last time, well, we did a whole bunch of stuff, mostly involving the stuff back in Terrace. We managed to rescue a person before he kind of died, and so as a result, we're now in KernSin and dealing with all that. But first things first, let's go off and grab ourselves those herb boots, or hyper boots as they were. It's gonna take a bit of time, so we're gonna fast forward in a bit. So the thing about the herb boots is, well, they're pretty expensive, but the increased mobility, if you can call it that, is pretty useful. 500 gold, not much more to say beyond that. Sure, I could complain about the price again, but that's not really necessary anymore. So yeah, as you can see, animations are moving twice as fast, and if you're looking at the 60 frames per second version, which I'm assuming you are, you'll see every frame moving really fast. So yeah, just gauging the speed, you run about twice as fast. It might be a little bit more, but that'd require me poking into some of the source files that I do not have. So yeah, let's head back. We do have some unfinished business in Terrace. Good thing to exploit is the fact that the enemy AI is typically not very good at doing things. They'll typically try to gravitate towards you without really knowing what to do, and they kind of get stuck on stuff, like this table here. Of course, we can still punch over the table, but can't actually throw fireballs over it. Oh well. And now he is dead. I wonder if it's some kind of reference. I know that this game is mostly about references. But anyway, if we go out and go back in, she's already cleaned up the body. But that being said, we can still comfort her. Anyway, that's all there is to do in the moment at Terrace, so let's keep going. This part of the game gets a little bit more grindy, since you need like a whole bunch of gold just to get anywhere. And I accidentally picked pig feed of all things. We'll just finish up with these pill bugs over here. Every level counts, sort of. It's probably not as preferred as you would just finding potions in the middle of nowhere and just drinking it right up. Grab some gold off that bonker, and let's keep going. We're gonna need a whole lot of gold ever since we made that purchase. At the very least, we can move around a lot faster, so that's helpful. Now, if I recall correctly, there was a mention of the cast going to set an attack on this town in particular, during a particular festival of sorts. But let's just take a look around. For a town, it's not very big, but there are a lot of houses. It's not quite right to just say there's something going to happen before we introduced ourselves. And that is when we went to put 1 and 1 together. That being said, why not ask what she does? A painter, of course. I haven't seen any paintings around though, so that might be a strange career choice. So yeah, why not just mention that fact? Part of the girl was in disbelief. Even so, she's pretty quick to panic. Okay, the mayor seems to know of a solution, I guess. And she slowly walks off, in the direction of the mayor. Okay, that took a bit long. The mayor's sometimes in here, says the girl. I guess we better talk to him. See about getting ourselves a better security detail. What's a bit of paranoia for a bit of security, huh? Even so, let's take a look around town and see if it's worth saving first. This man seems to be running back and forth, and he has a whole bunch of ducks. Not sure what the point of it is. Okay, excitement about the big parade happening soon. That's some enthusiasm you've got there. It seems that even the ducks are going to be joining in this one. There's something odd about them all. They all wander backwards and forwards, waddling about. Only diagonally. Only ever diagonally. Up until this point, anyway. It seems that one is not really following all the others. He has issues, says he. I feel like there's some hidden depth of duck psychology that I don't know about. And it's probably best not to try and see how fast he's actually going. Though I do believe we're moving just a bit faster than that man. Anyway, we have this farmer man person. And he looks kind of out of place. So let's ask him about the store. Okay. Interesting business name, I suppose. I'm not sure if it's meant to be some kind of reference. Even so, it's kind of weird for a business to not have a sign outside with their name on it, or advertisements, or anything. Sure, Dink, ask about furniture. But no, it's not that kind of come in, take your furniture, set it up yourself. And so, I guess we're not going to be squandering this man for any specials. Plus this really, really picky daughter, who does not like her dress, even though there's a pretty limited selection of dresses around if you tried looking. I guess that's all we're gonna get with this, so let's move on. And this particular stranger. I suspect there's something supposed to be going on with, you know, the whole idea of just barging into someone's home and trying to talk to them and doing stuff. And Dink isn't really all that polite about it either. And so that ends that particular gentleman. Let's take a heel, maybe look at the news again. 15 gold. $15 in gold. That's 15 coins though. So, In the latest edition of The King's News, issue 45, Milda Flatstomp has wed. Oh, there goes Liner. Also, KernSin's having a parade, if you didn't know. It seems that the importance of the parade is a lot less interesting. Anyway, this is the best in bows. And yeah, the bows are $1,000. Or 1,000 gold if you want to get real picky about what you're picking up and what it says it is. Well, considering you're the only bow maker, at least in this section of the world, you can afford to charge exorbitant prices because eventually someone is going to have to buy them. Especially to progress in a quest. That being said, try and see if we can get ourselves some more gold. At least hoard it a little bit. Some of the pillbugs, like in previous videos, are faster and stronger as a result. Their patterns don't change much though. And at the very least we can outrun them now, at least more effectively, unlike with our regular fist as our item. 11 gold. This is gonna take some time, isn't it? Of course, we still have the salami. And we have that area which was blocked off if you tried to go through via terrace over there. We're taking very little damage from actually getting hit by these things, thankfully. So we're not really taking much damage. Probably in half units. Probably due to our high defense rating. Or at least relatively high. I mean, it's the lowest stat out of all of them. And that's probably due to the fact that defense stat doesn't really have many potions, so it's kind of useful to try and grab more of that, just so you can survive a little longer. Don't really have to rely on magic so much at this point. That being said, the Acid Rain spell is still... it takes a lot of time to charge up. And if you miss, he'll go spiraling away and will probably kill you. But that's another subject for another time. This is an interesting pick of monsters to put on screen. A salami slice, you got this hunter, or something like that. I completely let the name get away from me. Even so, still have to use your fireball to kill it. At least if you don't want to die. It's kind of a balance between time to kill and amount of health you have. That being said, I can afford to wait around. Just throw the fireballs and hope that they hit for a few damage, take off the duck's head. There's no problem in that. In any case, we seem to have this lizard thing just trapped below us and it hasn't figured it out that it needs to go around. Good for us, I guess. This thing should provide a lot of experience and quite a bit of gold if I remember correctly. I mean, it is taking a long time for it to die. So yeah, at this point I start speeding the whole process up. Because he's not going anywhere. And I've got plenty of fireballs where that came from. And there we have it. 195 gold. That's quite a substantial amount, but still not enough. At least not yet. And I guess it can't hurt to search for secrets among the trees again. Huh. I guess this is a house of someone named George? Maybe it's this goblin's name. seems that this goblin is kind of progressive in a sort of way. In a kind of half-delusioned way as well. I mean, he seems to be a goblin, but claims to be human. I guess what differentiates them is their attitude towards number of issues, I guess. I guess Mog has some kind of importance. At least some plot relevance, at least. Maybe a casual line or two. Anyway, just looking up and down this set of scroll screens, I guess this is the Goblin Sanctuary. That being said, going in there is kind of like suicide. At the very least if you attack them, that is. So let's just keep on killing these pillbugs instead. $8 gold. 16 gold. Very small amounts, but every bit is worth it. At least it should be worth it. Unfortunately, the amount of damage that all these weapons do are essentially, well, nearly nothing. It's not worth it to have the damage stat up. If you wanted your damage up, increase your attack stat. The increased mobility is kind of what does it for me. Just being able to run around and hit things really fast. Especially when they're all bundled up together. That being said, this is a pretty good area to grab a little bit of gold. Although it's not the most efficient way of doing it. It works. Grab ourselves the spare gold as we run by, and not die. Thankfully there was a big heart there, so we can deal with this bonker. Moves a bit fast, tail wagging back and forth. Looking at it now, it looks like a really weird two-legged thing. Which is what it is, essentially, isn't it? I mean, it's really weird. It's like the head is where a neck would be if you had a dinosaur or something. Oh well. Let's wander around some more, hope that the monsters respawn. Nothing quite like a good punching. And what's even better is when the mobs decide to turn on each other. 17 gold! Well, we're pretty close to 1,000 gold now. This should hopefully provide it. Yep. A little more than enough, thankfully. So let's go on in and grab ourselves the bow. Although the attack stat is definitely not something you think about. How much did you sell your bows for? It's 1,000 gold dollars. It's basically a highway robbery, but we're gonna get it because it's a plot point. The most important part of what that man said is no refunds. Because we're gonna need more gold, I think. Or at least, certainly a lot more time wasted on grinding before we do anything about that Goblin Sanctuary. So let's take a save before we do anything else. Slot 5. I've used most of them up now. So let's take a look at the Goblin Sanctuary. Oh, you let us in now. Okay. Too early? What was it? It wasn't inciting an incident, that only kind of makes them aggressive towards you. So I guess we're gonna have to head back to town and... oh yeah, that's right. Supposed to talk to the mayor about that caste issue, about trying to slaughter them during the parade. So let's head on into this bookstore here. And tell him about the planned assault once we introduce ourselves. And compliment his town, of course. Is it fair to call us a citizen? I mean, we're not exactly native to this town. Even so, Dink's still gotta talk about the cast knights and their attack plans, of course. That being said, not very sure what the motive is, aside from terror. Oh, the girl was the mayor's daughter? Of course, Dink leaps into the relationship stuff. That being said, this is the next part of the game. We need proof that there's going to be an attack. The parade's probably gonna start pretty soon, but we still need to find evidence. The gate seems out of place, the wall seems out of place, but whatever. We can go in now. Touching those goblins though still hurt. I was really after these attack potions. They'll be pretty helpful in the next few episodes. Certainly because I've increased my attack stat by a full 4 units. And as a reference, just to show off how much damage I actually do, yeah, the bow does 3 damage at 12 attack, and it was fully drawn back. And the fireball does absolutely nothing. So yeah, grinding is going to be pretty much a big part of this part of the game. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Dink Smallwood. Join us next time, after all that grinding is complete. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care.